has been working. Cool. The staff has been working incredibly hard all summer to make sure that we have a very safe, enjoyable, and productive year. We will be updating you after this with anything from the district on a weekly basis. I will be doing that via email. But this is just to get a lot of the information I'm sure a lot of you guys wanted to know all summer. There have been some changes. So please, please, please listen to all the information first. We will do, hold on. Somebody says they can't. Everybody can hear me, right? Thumbs up. Okay. So listen to all the information first. I wanted to start by saying I understand that there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of information in Los Angeles regarding schools coming back. As principal and as a school leader, I take the safety of our school, the well-being of all of our stakeholders, our families, incredibly seriously. My entire family attends the school, so my wife, my kids. I consider you all family. So if anything were to happen safety wise, I would be the most adversely affected. Um, Everyone here, especially Mrs. Mitchell, we love you. We're working as hard as we can to do everything according to LAUSD and county protocols. And we're going to do our very, very best to ensure the safety of every student this year. And with that, again, it's really great to see you all. Welcome to this new school year that we're going to have. I guarantee it'll be a good year, and we will, hold on. All right, so there's a couple people that are having trouble hearing. Mr. Peter is advising that if you're having trouble hearing, to check your audio settings. The majority of everyone can hear. So if you are having trouble hearing, check your audio settings and make sure you're connected to the audio of this Zoom. All right, and with that, I believe Ms. Devon will be following with some helpful information from the office.
Hi, sorry, I had to be unmuted. Sorry, guys. Hi, everyone. I'm Miss Devon. I think I probably talked to you guys all at least like a couple times so far, but I just have a couple of things to go over really fast. The first thing is Power School. I want to thank all you guys for all your patience with me in Power School and working with me just on everything. I know I told you guys it was a new system for our school. And then so you guys have been really patient with me understanding and helping you guys and getting you guys all set up. With that being said, if you still are not set up on Power School, or if you still need help setting up your account on Power School, you guys can still just give me a call. I'll schedule an appointment with you, and then I will literally just do it for you, register for you, and then get you on so that you can fill out the enrollment forms on there. If you're brand new to the school and you still haven't received the third email, you're looking for an email and it says powerschool@creteacademy.org. That's the email that it'll come from. And then in the subject, it'll say Crete Academy. So that's what you're looking for. That's the email. But again, if you need help, don't even worry about it. I've helped a lot of you guys, so just keep calling me in the office and I'll just do it for you, no problem. And we can just do it together and get the ball rolling. The next thing that I did want to talk about, along with Power School, another line of communication that we use is Class Dojo. I know that all your teachers are getting you set up with Class Dojo, which is amazing, but please, please, please make sure you are connected, because that's where we post a lot of our announcements, a lot of our flyers. All the communication that we have is through Class Dojo. A second line or third line of communication that we use is something called Text-em-all. It's how we text you guys. So this is something a few of you guys have called and I asked first, I go, okay, did you guys receive the text message? So that text message, if you guys have a moment and if you guys can pull out your phone really quick, I'm actually gonna give you guys like 1 minute to just like actually physically pull out your phone. And if you look at the text that you received today from us for this Zoom link, the number is 866-971-0950. Or if you just open up the text that you use to get connected to this Zoom link right now. I want you guys to save that contact. And I always tell people, and I've been telling them more and more, just save that as Crete Academy, because the number is consistent. It doesn't come from a different number. And I know that sometimes because the number looks weird, it's an 866 area code, so it looks a little funky. I do know that it's really easy to just overlook it. So you guys can actually save it. In my phone, it's saved as Crete Academy, so that every time I get the text too, it says Crete, and I'm like, oh, cool, our text went out. Yeah, of course. It's 866-971-0950. Thank you, Mr. Peter. Guys, that's my best friend. The next thing that I did want to talk about for absences, I'm just going to go over it just general broad, because we're going to talk about it later in this meeting. But for me, what I need in the office, if your child is absent, we have to have a note. So how can we add other parents into the system? You can give me a call and I will do that for you. Just give me a call, tell me your number, I'll add it. So don't worry about it. So if you guys need to add or update, call the office, and that's all me, and I'll update it. We'll get it fixed. I think that's it. Okay. So like I was saying, the notes for the school, if your child is absent for any reason at all, I know last year was a little funky because it was in the middle of COVID. This year we require a note for everything. So if your child just was at home one day and just wasn't feeling well, the very next day, they have to come with a note signed by their parent. Or what you guys can do, once you guys are all connected to Class Dojo, it's real easy. If you guys can send a message in Class Dojo. I'm also on Class Dojo, so you can actually direct message me as well. My name is Miss Devin, and in Dojo, it's Miss Devin. We just need a note. Please just make sure we get a note. That's just the biggest thing. We need a note to the office that your child was absent. If it's for a longer period of days, we do need a doctor's note. But if your child is sick one day and I call you and I go, hey, Demaya is absent today. Okay, well, I need a note the next day when she comes in, just from the mom, just signed, or the parent, the guardian, whoever signed into the office, please. I know last year I didn't get too many, but this year we need them all. And then another thing, and this is the last thing that I will be talking about, is if your child has any flu-like symptoms at all. I know that last year, a couple of you guys got calls from me, like your kid had a runny nose, or they were coughing, or they were sneezing, or they looked like they were really sick. And I was calling home and I was saying, I'm so sorry, the child has to go home. The same still applies this year. And again, Mr. Mitchell will go over it more in detail later. But if your child has any flu-like symptoms, we ask that they please stay home. If they come and they just look full sick and their nose is just dripping and they're coughing and their eyes are like watering, because of the state of the world, please don't get upset with the teacher, don't get upset with me. Just understand that just because the current state of the world, they have to go home. Because give me 1 second, sorry guys. Sorry, thank you. Just because the current state of the world right now, please don't get upset. Just understand that it's just best if they don't come, or we'll just send them home. And I know that happened a lot last year, and I know that it was tough and it's hard to grasp. But again, Mr. Mitchell will fully go over that. But if you guys do get a call from the front office just saying, hey, they have a runny nose, I'm sending them home, or you have to come pick them up, please come pick them up. And that's all I have. Again, I'm Miss Devin. Thank you guys all for all your patience so far.
All right, good evening, everyone. I too had to wait to get unmuted, so we apologize for that. For those who do not know me, I am Mrs. McGregor, and this year I am serving as Crete Academy's assistant principal. And I would just like to go over a couple of things. The first thing I want to talk about is what our school day looks like. And just as a reminder, before I get into it, please hold your questions until the end. You may also, as you've been doing, put them in the chat, but we will address them at the end of the presentation. So we appreciate your patience with that. The first thing I want to talk about is our school day. Our school day drop off begins at 8 o'clock. It is from 8 to 8:30. Students will have breakfast if they would like, and then at 8:30 instruction begins. The school day for instruction ends at 1:30. So the school day ends at 1:30, and from 1:30 to 2:30 we will have enrichment, and from 2:30 to 5 is our after school program. Enrichment is completely optional. Mr. Mitchell will go more into the after school program a little bit later, but you as parents can decide if you want to pick up your student at the end of the school day, which ends at 1:30, or decide to keep them for enrichment. There was a survey that was sent out, and we're asking that you please, if you haven't already, please fill out that survey. That will let us know what the need is for enrichment and for after school. I do want to highlight and say that if you decide to have your child stay for enrichment, then they will need to stay for enrichment the whole time. We cannot, because of COVID and other reasons, have students deciding one day to go to enrichment and the next day not, and so forth and so forth. So please fill out the survey and be sure what you want your decision to be. And we're just really asking you all to stick with that. The next thing I would like to talk about is school uniforms. And I am going to share my screen and show you a picture of our school uniforms. So this here is our school uniforms. So students, you can see here that you can, the girls may wear a plaid jumper. We also requiring navy blue pants and white polos or gray polos. Currently, students do not, because we've gone through a logo change. And so currently you are not required to have the logo. And I believe in January 2022 is when the logo would be required. So these are examples of the different uniforms that you may wear. And uniforms can be purchased at Cambridge Uniform. Another thing I would like to say is that everyone will be receiving a specialized, customized Crete shirt that we have designed especially for our Crete students. And these shirts that you will get from the school absolutely free will be worn every Monday. Monday is when we will have our school assemblies, morning assemblies, and we want to start off the week with everyone in uniform, just sharp, prepared for the week. So you will be receiving that within the next week or so. It will not be ready for this Monday, but we will have it within the next week or so. Additionally, the last thing that I would like to discuss on tonight is our wellness program. Crete, we pride ourselves on is our wellness program that we have at the school. And if you've been with us over the years, you know about our wellness program. And I just want to go over a couple of things that we offer. So we offer basic needs. If we offer basic needs, we have a food pantry, we have laundry, and we have housing services, and we also provide mental health and therapy sessions. We contract with MSWs for our school to service your students, service your children. so that they can have a well-rounded education and also taking care of their mental health. Now, one thing I would like to say about the laundry service is this. If you need laundry, you will call the front office to set up an appointment. And what we like to also say that we're not a laundromat, so we only have a small, washer and dryer, but it is there if you need that service. Any questions that you may have, please put them in a chat again, and they will be addressed later. And now we will turn it back to Mr. Mitchell.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Mrs. McGregor. And then Mr. Peter, am I able to share my screen as well?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, so. All right, so here we are. I'm going to cover several very important items. So please pay attention to the information. If you have anything, you can type it in the chat box. I believe Mrs. Mitchell is answering some of the questions. Our administrators will be trying to answer your questions in the chat. If you don't place them in the chat, if you have a question you'd like to ask, just please hold off until I am finished. And here we go. All right, so the start date is Monday, August 16th. We will be opening the gates at 8 a.m. There was a question in the chat about early arrival. I know some parents have to be at work earlier. Please contact Ms. Devon if you need to make accommodations based on your work or school schedule. Arrival is 8 to 8:30 a.m. As Mrs. McGregor stated, we will be on the yard doing our morning assemblies on Mondays. The rest of the week, the students will go straight to class and do their morning meetings in class. The dismissal for the school is at 1:30 p.m. Ms. Devon sent out a link with information about enrichment and after school. It's a survey. So this year, for your child to be in enrichment, you must access the survey and let them know that you would like to be in enrichment. Also for after school, which I'll get into later, after school will be from 2:30 to 5:30. And after school, as we had it not last year, but 2 years ago, there are limited spaces. We're not able to offer it to the entire school. And there are some requirements to being eligible for after school, and I'll go over that later. Okay, so first let's get into enrichment. Enrichment this year will start Monday, August 23rd. For the first week of school, dismissal will be at 1:30 for all students. Starting August 23rd, enrichment and after school will start. Please, please, please sign up through the survey if you are interested. If you do not sign up, and we do not know that you are interested, you won't be on the class roster for the enrichment, and you won't get information about after school. So the text, if you are interested in after school enrichment, again, please sign up. This year, we have 8 enrichment classes. They will rotate every 6 weeks. Basketball, arts and crafts, culinary arts, music production, voice, computers, language, which will be a Spanish course. And we also have, we are working on a chess course. We are just working on the scheduling with that. So those will be the enrichment classes to start out. And every 6 weeks, students will be able to go to another enrichment class. Okay, after school is every day from 2:30 to 5:30. The cost will be $25 per student each month, which averages out to $1 a day. So if you are accepted into the after school program, the $25 will be due before the beginning of each month. So for this, for September, the due date would be August, the last date in August, which I'll check the calendar, but it would be the last date in August. And we'll confirm all that next week after we look through the survey to see who is all enrolled. The requirements for enrollment. To be in after school, you must show proof of need for after school. Crete provides after school at cost. And so if you have work, if you are in school, if there is a need for the student to be at the school until 5:30, the that would be the requirement for after school. The proof would be a class schedule, a work schedule, a letter from employer, or a letter from the educational institution. All of those things would suffice. And just providing that before after school starts. So before Monday, August 23rd, which would be August 20th. That Friday, August 20th, please have these materials if you are in the after school program. The after school activities, tutoring activities, games, sports, students will also receive an additional meal after school. Okay, transportation, unfortunately, due to COVID restrictions, we will not be able to offer transportation this year. We would like to, so if anything changes, we will update you as soon as we are able to safely provide the service. The communication with the district and the proximity between the students, we would not be able to have any kind of transportation program that made any sense this year. So we're sorry about that. We're working on, as soon as the restrictions lighten up and we're able to, we will provide transportation. Okay, the family fair is taking place tomorrow. It will be from 5 to 7 p.m. There will be, well, first off, the protocols. So there will be a screening. People will wear masks. This event, we will have hand sanitizer. We will be doing everything that we can to make sure it's a safe event. Um, Everybody that enters will be screened, temperatures taken, and everybody that is there, mask will be required. Um, the event is from 5 to 7. There will be activities. You will be able to meet your teachers. All of the staff will be in attendance. We will have food, a jumper. We'll be giving out school supplies to every student. We have backpacks, school supplies, and it'll be just like the family fairs from the past. A lot of fun and a great way to be introduced to the new school year. The COVID-19 testing, and I know this is a hot button and a lot of parents have questions about the COVID protocols. So I'll address that on the next slide. Um, but a preview into that, one of the changes this year, every student and every staff member is required to be tested weekly. If you do not have a negative COVID test, you cannot step on campus. So in order to be on campus in class, you must have a COVID test that shows that you are negative for COVID-19. We will be providing free testing throughout the entire year, every week. Tomorrow's testing window is from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Everyone, please come to the school, get tested. The lab that we're using will give us all of the results directly, and we will be able to confirm with all the families. And if you do not receive an email from us, then you're good to go. If you do receive an email that you tested positive for COVID-19, I will go over the protocol for any students that test positive and how they will be able to return and the quarantine timing that the district and the county has provided us. Lastly, at the family fair, that same lab will also be providing COVID vaccines from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. while supplies last. I believe they have somewhere around 200 to 250 vaccines. So if you or a family member are interested in the vaccines, they will be there through the duration of the time next to the same testing site. All right, now for the COVID information. Okay, so attached to this PowerPoint, these are hyperlinks. This will be sent out, or this will be available on the website, this PowerPoint. These hyperlinks go straight to the LA County protocols. It also includes our safety plan, which is on our website. And it also provides other testing sites, and I'll go over this in case for any reason or there's an emergency and you're not able to make our testing window. Um, it provides some other options for testing as a last resort. But the basics will follow all of the LAUSD and LA County protocols. Our COVID safety plan has been approved by LAUSD. It was approved by LA County. We were one of the first charter schools to return with the well wishes of both the county and the district. And they used some of our protocols to establish what they're using for all of the schools now. And these include just daily temperature, verbal and visual screenings for anybody entering campus. There is a bevy of hand sanitizer all around the school. Everyone, student and staff, will be required to have face coverings and use PPE. The recommended distance they're saying is at least 3 feet between students and staff for seating. So that will be in place. Students and staff must test weekly and have a negative test to be allowed on campus. I've already covered that. And before, I know there's going to be a lot of questions. This is a very, very imperfect system. The county does want everybody to return in person. That is the only option the county is offering, is in-person education. And due to the rise in the COVID cases in the last couple of weeks, there's a lot of requirements. Some of them don't make a lot of sense. As a school, we're just going to do our very, very best to be safe, be responsible. As a school family and as a community, I'm asking everyone to really take this seriously. There are consequences if we don't follow the protocols. And if we don't follow the protocols, if we do have incidents of positive tests, then there is a chance that school can be shut down. And there can be, you go back to distance learning, or if the county feels like, there's too many cases, they can quarantine the whole school. So that is the absolute last thing that we would want to happen. So we are imploring and encouraging every family to be responsible, to be safe, to get tested. As Ms. Devon stated, if your child at any time, if there's a doubt, if you see any of the symptoms, please keep your child home for that day until you get them tested. If we do the testing and there's positive tests, I am mandated to report that test. And there's a threshold that if we have too many tests during one testing period, that the county can come in and give us some very unfair consequences. So we're asking everybody to please be responsible with that. The big picture item is, if at any time a student tests positive, it's an automatic 10-day quarantine. And before the day that they return, they have to be symptom free for at least a full day. I will be the liaison for the school to check in with any family that has a student that tests positive. I will reach out to you the day before they're scheduled to come back, but it is a 10 calendar day quarantine. So for example, if this Friday, your child does test positive, 10 calendar days from this Friday, which would be the 13th, so Monday the 23rd, they will be able to come back, but only if there is a 24-hour period where they have no more of the symptoms. And they still will have to provide a negative COVID test. Now, we'll be testing at the school weekly, and that is why I've provided this, the free testing that's provided through the county. This hyperlink will give you all of the locations where you can go in and get free testing. So if you're on quarantine from the school, but you still need to provide a negative COVID test, please access this link. This shows all of the sites in LA County that are free testing. Um, let me see really quick. Okay, and additional information on COVID-19 testing. Tomorrow at the family fair, we will have a lab here to do the testing. After that, for the remainder of the year, uh, we have a partnership with the testing laboratory. They will conduct weekly testing on campus every Monday during the enrichment period. So after Monday, August 23rd, every Monday from 1:30 to 2:30, we will be administering COVID tests on campus. The testing lab will come. The form of test is a very low swab, which means it is a swab of the nose. It is not the very intrusive nose and throat swab that some of us have encountered. It is a gentle swab in each nostril. The testing facility has provided COVID testing for the last year and a half for over 30 schools, and they are highly recommended, a very safe lab. And there will be a link that we will send out to everyone next week, where you can enroll in the link. And once you do your registration, you only have to do it once for your student. And the rest of the year, that testing lab will come. All of the testing kits will be pre-packaged for your student. They will have their staff uh, administer the test, make sure everything is done correctly, and then we'll have the results within 24 hours. So our testing day for Crete Academy will be on Mondays between 1:30 and 2:30. Every student and every staff member has to have a negative test each week in order to be on campus. If you do not have a negative test, you cannot come to campus until you provide one. The easiest and best way that we are asking you is to make sure your student is present on Monday and does take the test. We will have a dashboard that shows us all of the tests within one day, and we'll be able to work from that dashboard. If you aren't there on a Monday and you don't test, you cannot return on Tuesday. You can go to a free testing site and provide a negative test. I would have to confirm that test before you came back on campus, but the best way is to make sure you're here Monday and make sure we're able to just do it through the lab. It's the easiest, safest, and best way to do that. All right, now I'm sure there's gonna be some additional questions, but I just wanted to cover a lot of the general points. We're doing everything we can to stay safe. And hold on one second. Okay, wow, okay. All right. All right, so for the next, well, I'll try to get through all the questions, but at least for the next 15 to 20 minutes, I'll be taking questions. I'm trying to go back to where, Okay, so Ms. Shaw, the enrichment programs, you can enroll through the survey that Ms. Devon sent out. The link, it is a link through a text that Ms. Devon sent out. Please access that link. It was from the number, and I think Mrs. Mitchell also provided the survey link here in the chat if you haven't already done that. Thank you. Looks like, okay, all right. Okay, so Mrs. Mitchell has been holding it down in the chat box. All right, now, let me see. Okay, and then correct, just to clarify, there is no online option for school this year. Each teacher will have work and worksheets for students that have to quarantine. LAUSD was very intentional about all students being in person. They are not giving a hybrid or online option. That is only a last case scenario if the county comes in and says that the school, it has too many cases, or isn't safe, then we would all go back to online. But that would be the last case scenario. So there is no online. Um, if your child has allergies, can he still go to school? So, yes, if your child has allergies, they can still be at school. If your child sneezes, we will not have Mr. B run and tackle your student and have them in the quarantine area. Really quickly, the quarantine, we do have an isolation area and a quarantine area in the back of the school. In the event that at any time we do find out that a student or staff member um, is on campus that has symptoms, or the lab comes back and says that they are positive, they will immediately go to the quarantine area. Anybody that is in that classroom or that was around that student, they will also go to the quarantine area. They will leave campus until they can provide a negative test. And we will notify the campus and anybody that was in close contact with that student. Um, but if your student has allergies, they cough, they sneeze, we're humans. It happens. Sometimes I'm in Target and I sneeze, and then I look around, everybody's looking at me like, I got the bug, I'm the super spreader. We get it. We're humans, we're gonna sneeze. Now, if your child is sneezing repeatedly, has a runny nose, has puffy eyes, is showing symptoms, and the symptoms were on the slide, but fever, chills, headache, runny nose, trouble breathing, any of those symptoms, we will ask for the child to be picked up if they are consistent. Okay. The last question, Rizal. No, I went over the schedule earlier. School dismissal is at 1:30 p.m. Next week, our opening week from August 16th to August 20th, dismissal will be at 1:30 p.m. for every student. The following week, starting August 23rd, enrichment programs and after school programs will be in session. So depending on if you're enrolled in enrichment, you may get picked up at 2:30. There may be a dismissal at 5:30 if you're also in after school. Okay, Ms. Corlett, the enrichment classes are from 1:30 to 2:30. I went over that earlier. They will be on the web. The PowerPoint will be accessible on the website after we get off. This entire meeting is also recorded, and it will be available, I believe, on YouTube, but we'll post a link to the website. So if you want to go back, look at the slides, look at the PowerPoint, or hear any information, you'll be able to do so anytime from now until Monday and have all the information that you need. All right, is there an option to do hybrid of online and in-person? Asking for a friend, that is hilarious. Okay, so at this time, they are not offering a hybrid model. And this is why I say it's a very imperfect system. And part of the reason I got vaccinated was because they said once you get vaccinated, you don't have to worry about anything. And now everybody has to worry. So if you're vaccinated or not, you get tested weekly. We understand that there is a health risk associated with being in person. The district is saying that the need for students to be in class versus what they're seeing health-wise from the kids is at a place where it's okay for students to be here. They're promoting it. They're not offering any hybrid. So it's in-person instruction. If your student is not in school, they will be provided a work packet from the teacher. There's an online app that we communicate with. You can communicate with your teacher through Dojo or Seesaw. They can receive help on their assignments. There's tutoring options, but there is no hybrid this year. What type of tests? Okay, so the test for COVID will be the low swab for everybody. It'll be a gentle swab of the nose, each nostril for 3 to 5 seconds. It will not be the intrusive swab that a lot of us received when we first, if you ever got a COVID test when they first did it, where they did your throat and your nostrils. It's only the nostrils, 3 to 5 seconds, a gentle swab. I have had this done. It is it's not invasive at all. It's easy to do, and they will have their lab staff here to help administer all the tests. There will no khaki colored pants, and this year there's also an emphasis on everyone being in dress code, blue pants, blue shorts, navy blue is the only color for the pants. And yes, in January of 2022, we will be going to just only white shirts. At this time, if you have a gray shirt or hold on. If you have a gray shirt or you've already purchased them in preparation for Monday, you can wear them, but the entire school will be phasing those out as of January 2022. So when we come back from winter break, it's only going to be white shirts. But if you got the gray shirts, you got a couple months, get them in. In January, you donate them back. The shoe color, we asked for dark colored shoes that kids, they just last longer, they look better with the uniforms, but black, brown, navy, any darker colored shoes we're asking the kids to wear this year. Oh, no, okay, so the question, can parents be present during the test? Unfortunately, parents cannot be present during the test. You can be present this Friday at the family fair, but moving forward, parents, it'll be the same policy, not allowed on campus during instruction, unless there's an emergency or you have a meeting with the staff member, but parents are not allowed to be on campus during the testing. Each classroom will be testing in their classroom. There will be someone from the lab assisting the teacher. They will make sure that every sample and every test kit is done correctly before they turn it in. All right. Yes, white. Yes, Miss Autumn's mom. However, we really want everybody to wear the same uniforms. It does do a lot for morale and continuity. And yes, I know, but it'll be better. Trust me, it'll be much better for the entire school. All right. We're at 6:45. We're doing great. You guys are asking some really good questions. It looks like they've stopped. Okay. Okay, so the three options for tests were finger prick, saliva, or nose swab. And to do weekly tests, the best option, as we talked with other charter leaders, all the labs, the easiest thing to do was the nose swab. Finger prick, a lot of people don't like needles. And the saliva, there was a higher degree of error with the saliva because you have to put a lot of saliva into a cup. So a lot of kids to be spitting or producing saliva for an extended period of time wasn't the most hygienic way. Yes, we follow LAUSD and the county guidelines. And as I explained earlier, the nose, it's not the nose test that we're used to. It's a gentle swab. So it's a very gentle swab. It doesn't go into the back of the nose. It just goes around the nostril. Okay, all right, I'm getting some questions here. Okay, will there be seating charts? Also, what is being done for contract? So yes, every class has assigned seating. You can, I believe you will be able to speak with your teacher, your student's teacher after this Zoom. You can ask that teacher exactly about the seating. And contact tracing. Yes. Okay. So there will be a contact tracing protocol. As I stated earlier, this is a very, very imperfect system. So we will do our very best if we do have a positive test or we are notified that a student has either been in contact with somebody that has COVID or is showing COVID symptoms. We will notify everybody that we know that was in contact with that student for the day. We have a COVID compliance team on campus. We will do our absolute best to notify everyone and trace back to the source. And we also report every positive case to the county, and they do the same thing. So they have their own measures that they take in investigation to see where the positive test came from and to do the very best to keep it out of the school. All right. Okay. Let me see what else. Okay, so great question. The weekly tests are until we receive further notice. So it feels like every day there are updates, but for sure every week the county does new updates. We just uh, we were just notified a couple weeks ago that we'd have to test every week. And so all of the charter schools, all the LUSD schools were, had to figure out how to get it done. As soon as there's other guidance saying that the cases are slowing up and the testing isn't required, hopefully we will be able to scale back as soon as possible. But until LAUSD tells us otherwise, we do have to test every week. Okay. All right, if your child is in after school, can we pick up before 5:30? Okay, so if you do have a child in after school, we ask that they stay for an appreciable amount of time, like closer to 5. We really want to get the most out of the after school program for, students that really need it. If they're just there for like an hour or 30 minutes, then, there's most likely another student that could benefit from being there the full time if we have parents that get off at 5 or 4:35 or something like that. So we are asking if you are in the after school program that you stay for most of the time. But again, if there are extenuating circumstances, reach out to the office and we'll do our best to work with you. But the after school program, if you sign up, plan to stay for at least until around 5 p.m. All right, and okay, question, why are the school hours? We are doing our best to create a safe environment for everyone. The amount of time everyone has to be together, we are trying to maximize and be efficient with our academic time, as well as just trying to be safe with not being here as long as possible. We're offering different options. So like we're out at 1:30, but then we have enrichment, and then there's another then there's after school. So students will not be just all together at once all day, which is which can lead to health risks if everybody's there for a longer amount of time. Also, what we found out through distance learning is that we can get a lot more done as long as we're focused and targeted in a shorter amount of time. We don't necessarily have to be here until 3:15 if we are really focused on what we're doing. So the 1:30 time is going to be the dismissal, and it's a compromise between what we used to do and what we had to do during distance learning, as well as keeping everybody's safety in mind. Okay, can the test change from time to time? We provide a weekly test and your nose gets irritated from the swabs every week. Okay, so at this time, what we have set up is the Monday testing. We are not moving it right now. We're gonna stick with it until further notice. We did do research into the other schools that have this test. They said it has been going well, is efficient. The kids are responding to it really well. So we haven't had any issues as far as like speaking with other schools or the lab. However, if there is an issue, we are open to changing the testing format. But for now, we're going to start with this, do our best to administer it, and go that route until something changes. Okay. Okay, Ms. Yolanda, yes, our emails, any of the administrators, our emails are on the website. If you don't already have our information, and you can reach out to us. We also, if you call the school, there's an option to reach the administrators in the principal's office. All right, and then I have about 2 minutes left because the classrooms, the teachers have separate breakout sessions. So I wanna be respectful of their time. Again, this whole session is recorded and the teachers can also offer some insight. We'll have this information on the website. There will be a YouTube link for this Zoom call, as well as the PowerPoint slide will be shared on the website. Those hyperlinks will be able to show the LA County K through 12 guidelines and protocols. So all of this information, everything that we're going over will be available, but we do only have a couple minutes left. Again, the enrichment classes will be on the slide. This year it's basketball, arts and crafts, chess, culinary arts, music production, voice lessons, and I feel like I'm missing one. But it's all listed, so you could check it out once it's on the website. Okay, so our school enrichment classes. Okay, so it's 6:55. I have to allow time for the breakout sessions so that everybody can get to sleep at a reasonable time. Oh, okay, boom. All right. Mr.
Sorry.
went
That's
ahead,
all.
hit the
Yeah.
chat box with all the links. Please find your students, teachers. These will also, the sessions will be recorded and posted to Dojo. If you have more than one student, you can choose your favorite teacher to go to their class now and then check the other teacher out on the recording. That's a joke. Everybody's my favorite and everybody's a wonderful teacher here. So if you have more than one teacher, everything's recorded. You can check your other students' teachers on Dojo. And with that, again, everybody, please, please, please come to the family fair tomorrow. Make sure you get your COVID test so you're able to come on Monday. If you do not get tested tomorrow, if you don't provide a negative test, we will not be able to let you or your student, we won't be able to let your student on campus Monday. Please come tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're looking forward to seeing you. We've been working incredibly hard to make this a great year. We can't wait to see all of you tomorrow. Wear your mask and, do your best to stay away from COVID. All right. I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Breakout sessions are on the way. Enjoy. Thank you all. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow. Hey, Marvin. Hi, Leah. Hi, Miss Garcia. Hey, Miss Erin. How are you? Who's that? Nija's mom. Hey, Miss Carla. What's going on? Hi, Cherie in San Francisco. All right. I'll see you guys. Oh, Mr. Lee at the practice. I'm on my way to practice too, man. I see you getting it in. Double duty. That's what I'm talking about. Dad gang. Dad gang. All right. All right, everybody. I'll see you. Hey, Miss Nina. I gotta come get my hair done. You got an appointment for me, or see if you can do something with that. All right. All right. I'll see you guys. Have a good evening. Drive safely. All the Northfleet kids. See you guys later. Bye, Joel. Good to see you, buddy.
if you guys want still to add or need help accessing your teacher's Zoom, just let me know. I'll be here still.